Whatnot is greater than TikTok Shop. TikTok Shops where they're just hard selling. And the reality is we're selling products, but there's two things we're not doing. We're not overly selling them, and we're looking at this more as programming content. Just like in the same way we would build out our monthly schedule of social media content, we're doing this with the live shopping too. Certain times and days are gonna be themed, and we're curating this in the same way we curate content. If you're on Whatnot, it's literally a platform for purchasing. So if you're there, you're already a high intent buyer. You're looking to make a purchase. And if we can position it as entertainment, it kind of takes care of itself. The consistency matters. And the reality is this is no different. So if you're gonna go live every Monday at 8 p.m., you have to go live every Monday at 8 p.m. You have to be consistent, just like any other part of the business. Cool. So everybody, my name is John Roman, CEO of BattlBox. If I'm going to put the group today into a segment, 3 segments, some of you guys know of me, know of BattlBox, probably had a conversation today. Some of you guys might know of me, might know of BattlBox. I don't formally know you. And then the third group, you have no idea what BattlBox is. You have no idea who I am. So a little bit of social proof. Who the F am I? So let's jump into it. This first stat, I absolutely grotesque using it. It's the how much total DTC revenue I've done in a long period of time. To me, it's about recent stuff, but a lot of people on X love that. So there's that. I've had 5 exits, 4 acquisitions. A little bit about BattlBox. So started in 2015. Outdoor gear brand, as I said earlier. So survival, outdoor camping, hiking, really anything to do with the great outdoors. Our core business is the membership. I don't like the word subscription box, but you know, at the end of the day, a large element of the business is the subscription box. So that membership monthly box accounts for a little bit greater than 20 million in ARR. So it's a nice chunk of our business. Weird journey for BattlBox. So we started in 2015. In 2021, perfect timing, October, we sold the business. 6x EBITDA, which was pretty good for then. Publicly traded company via SPAC. If anybody follows the markets at all, you know the story of the SPAC in the last couple of years was not a very good one. So that allowed us to call an audible, and we bought the business back in 2023 for a 1x EBITDA. So we have it again. Notable element is the Netflix TV show. So as I'll say on the next slide, we're really into social media and content, more so than maybe some other brands. And we're taking what we know of content and we're applying it to live shopping. So on the social media side, we have TikTok. It's our largest channel at 1.1 million. YouTube, 875,000. Facebook, 692K. And Instagram coming in last at 180K. So jumping into one of our goals this year, we wanted to get an additional channel, a marketplace, another 7-figure stream for us. So we already had 2. We have Amazon, which has been a 7-figure channel, and we have TikTok Shop, which is a 7-figure channel. Wanted a third, live shopping. We thought, you know, maybe we're going to go TikTok Shop. Maybe we're going to go somewhere else. Pure timing. Whatnot, BDR was emailing us, prospecting, and it was offer we couldn't refuse. So we checked out the platform. So we launched in April 2025, which I'll get into a little bit. The fact is, for the last 10 years, we've been talking about live shopping. China's doing so much live shopping, and why are we? And, you know, can only hear about it so many times for 10 years before you're a little numb, right? Like, I honestly didn't think that we were ever going to get to the point we're at today with live shopping in the States. The reality is China's a different market, different consumer behavior, different consumer purchasing, just not truly the same. But the reality is, you know, we're just kind of laggards. We're about 10 years behind. We're never going to be the same size when it comes to live shopping as China, but we're growing, and we're growing rapidly. So you can look at some quick data. You know, this year, China's going to hit $1 trillion in live shopping. We're nowhere near that, right? We're going to barely get into the hundreds of billions. But as you can see, we're gonna, honestly, in 10 years we might be at $1 trillion. And I wanted to show this because the reality is, it's when you talk about something for so long, for 10 years, you start to think maybe it's just not going to happen, and it's actually happening. So actually, let me go back for a second. So I'm not benefiting at all from talking about this today. I'm a big believer that everybody can win, no one has to lose. And my goal of today is for you to have some actionable insights to be able to say, hey, I can launch on Whatnot or insert other live platform and add, decent, significant, considerable revenue to your business. So with certainty, I believe that if you're a decently sized brand, your past proof of concept, let's define that a baby $5 million in annual revenue and up to 9 figures or greater. With certainty, you can add 7-8 figures to your business in a very short order with live shopping. It's still early. Even though we've been talking about it for a decade, the reality is this is the TikTok of when it had just been named TikTok for Musical.ly. We're talking 2020 COVID time, but for live shopping. Now, a lot of people talk about TikTok Shop and how great it is, and I'm a fan, right? TikTok's great. It's the largest organic channel, 7-figure channel for us. Not hating on it at all. It has its place, but the reality is I don't think it's, as of right now today, the right choice for live shopping. So I'm going to tell you why I think Whatnot, which I have no skin in the game, just why I believe Whatnot is greater than TikTok Shop. So this data I'm going to share with you is just BattlBox data. Your data might vary, might be different. But for us on TikTok Shop, AOV is about $20. Kind of give you a comparison on our website AOVs. If you're including the membership, we're over $100. On Whatnot so far, AOV has been $88. So significantly better. TikTok Shop, after you're paying a creator their 15, 20 points, after you're having to run a promotion and discount the product as well to get any sort of traction with sales, our average COGS ends up being about 65 to 75%, which is quite hot. But, again, volume game. You got to sell a lot of $20 items to get into the millions. Whatnot side is interesting. So, I said AOV is 88, so more than 4x. COGS is 45 to 55%, which is not the most ideal number for us, but it's 100% in our acceptable ranges. But the big difference here is the repeat buyers. I'm going to define repeat buyers today very differently than anyone else is going to, and it's only for this exercise. On TikTok Shop, when someone buys from us, we have ways where we're trying to, cross-match and see if they're actually making additional purchases directly with us. And about 2% do, which is not a great number. And that's 2% on a good day. With Whatnot right now, we're seeing about 20% make additional purchases from us directly outside of the Whatnot platform, actually becoming our traditional customers where we own their information, where we get their email address, where we can drop them into a normal flow. So comparing the two, as of right now today, there's really not much of a comparison. So live selling isn't just for Pokemon. Pokemon and sports cards are by far on the Whatnot platform on eBay. They are the largest categories. They dominate. And it's just simply because they've been established. They've been doing it for a lot longer. And we're talking about Whatnot here. Pre-COVID, I think they had maybe 12, a dozen, maybe 18, under 20 employees. Small shop. They did their raise this year, $5 billion valuation. They have over 600 team members now, and they're attacking every single category, every major category. I mean, not to discredit outdoor gear, adventure gear, but it's probably pretty low on the list of categories, compared to beauty and wellness and health and stuff like that. So they're scaling and they're putting a really conscious effort into growing all these additional categories. And we're quickly finding out that not only is the audience already there, but it's there in large amounts. Now, there's the collectability aspect. Sports cards and Pokemon have this. And there's ways to use gamification to kind of bring it into the entertainment of your live shopping. So entertainment that converts. The first thing you think about is like, well, I don't have someone to do it, right? I don't have someone that can be this person in front of the camera selling. And there's a couple examples here in the pictures. There's a lot of, we call them hand models, right? They're only showing their hands. They're going to be talking, but it's a very low barrier to entry. You're not having to have a studio, a stage. You're just showing what you're selling with your hands and talking. And it's super, super easy. Then you have the full gambit where you have people showing themselves. You have people using, additional integrations to show graphics and a better entertainment experience. So this is just a random video of ours. We do the full frontal. We have, at this point, we have 5 hosts that are running live shopping. We have several full-time creators. It's part of our whole content thing. Oh, I was supposed to play. All right. So definitely took a conservative approach here. I know a lot of people want to raise money and hire without really filling a solution. So we started with what we had. So we kicked it off with a test. In April of this year, we ran a total of 10 hours selling. We didn't know what we were doing. We were going to figure it out. Lots of variables, right? Everything could be a variable, from products you're running, how you're presenting them, time of day, types of auctions you're running. It was literally a test just to get data. So 10 hours in April. We leveraged existing team members only. So we didn't want to take away from our core competencies, our core business, what we were already doing successfully. So the way we treated it is everybody that was involved, we just gave a commission bonus to, right? This was extra work. A lot of times the selling hours are out of the 9 to 5 traditional hours. So we're just kind of giving multiple team members a little bit of a side hustle, if you will, while we try to figure this out. Walter sending a random funny picture while we're literally live selling. Walter's in the back. He runs marketing for us. So every show was a test and a lesson. Like I said, days, times, auction length, show length, products offered. Honestly, the host. We've tested several different hosts, and a lot performed different than others. We're testing to get data. And there's a lot of data to get in such a short period of time. But we stuck with a model. One of the models we came up with is, I kind of talked about the COGS piece with TikTok Shop. If we were going to spend any kind of resources on this live selling, we knew we had to protect our margin, and we had to ensure that we were growing and scaling this in a profitable way. So off the top, we made a rule that we were putting a 52% markup on all of our products. And that accounted for fees, right? So we talked about TikTok fees earlier. Whatnot fees, 8% plus 3% plus 30 cents per transaction, called 11%. And then we were giving, and we still do, about 8.5 to 10% to our team. So you're talking about 20 points you're losing off the top. So we had to protect it, and we wanted to have some kind of acceptable margins when the dust settled. So we quickly identified, really, there were 3 parts to live shopping that matter. And you go on Whatnot right now, you're going to see a lot of people that are doing all 3 roles. And maybe that's what you want to do, and that's okay, right? You can have the same guy that does all of these, and that's just how you're figuring it out. We ended up divide and conquer, so we had 2 people doing the 3 roles at first. And now, since we've scaled this, we have dedicated people, multiple in each role, some even full-time, specifically for these roles. So the first role, very simple, it's the host, right? It's the person that's in front of the camera or the hand model showing the product in the hands. They're engaging with the audience. The live shopping piece on Whatnot is very community-ish, right? You're engaging, you're having full conversations. It's actual entertainment, and it's true content, unlike, some other channels. So energy, consistency matter. Now we've termed this other role showrunner. So we have Cameron, who is the showrunner, and then the role I'm going to show in a second when we jumped off. So building, managing, running the show. Think of this as scheduled content, right? Just like you would look at planning your social media and planning how you wanted to communicate messages. We're doing the same thing with products. So you can see this spreadsheet had 200 tabs, and we vibe coded an app to replace this. But we were using this, and this was kind of the cheat sheet for both the host and the showrunner. You can see the product, what our cost was, the minimum selling price was adding the 52% markup. Starting bid is kind of rounding up, so it wasn't too obvious what we were doing on the margins. And then the retail price is a cheat sheet for the host to kind of keep everybody honest. Channel owner, for us, it was Cameron, who was also the showrunner. And it's just owning it like you would own any channel, right? You might have someone that owns the TikTok shop channel currently or social selling. You've got to have, at the end of the day, one person that owns it, right? Because if a bunch of people are touching it and no one truly owns it, it's tough to have any kind of accountability, right?
John, how would you hire for the social commerce, like someone that runs live? Like, what's the hiring process? How are you finding these people?
So, up until that point, the first month, we're not hiring anybody. We're taking the existing team, and we were just trying to figure this out together. We had our creators. We had Walter, who runs marketing. He was show running some. Cameron was our marketing coordinator, so he's doing a lot of the scheduling of emails, talking to the social team. Like, really, there wasn't anyone at all. Now we're hiring full-time showrunners. We're hiring full-time hosts.
What's their normal background? Are they needing to be in front of camera, or more just like very operationally, organizationally sound?
So on the show running, it's just understanding how to use a spreadsheet, how to honestly just have basic critical thinking skills. Nothing
harder to find than you think, my man.
Yeah. But to be fair, we've actually some of these roles we've actually gone offshore for on the show running side, and it's truly working out. On the host side, as you're trying to get into that, it's a really good point, right? It's not just easy to find that specific person. We've tried some and they haven't gone well, and we've found others. But with the commission structure we came up with, so we're giving these hosts 5% of top line revenue with
on the day
on everything they sell. So we're building that into our modeling, and the reality is that can start to be a very, very nice amount of money. Brandon, the first guy I showed, he went through a stint where he was probably averaging $4,000 in revenue an hour for a large amount of hours. So you're ultimately, making a significant payday. But you quickly find out based on hourly rate if someone's a fit or not, and how hungry they are, and if they're good in front of the camera. So let's go over to not selling products, right? So I've watched a lot of TikTok shops where they're just hard selling. And the reality is we're selling products. It's really obvious that we're selling products, but there's two things we're not doing. We're not overly selling them, and we're looking at this more as programming content, right? So we're just like in the same way we would build out our monthly schedule of social media content, we're doing this with the live shopping too. Certain times and days are going to be themed, and we're curating this in the same way we curate content. Kind of a cool image here. So this is in the last 7 days. This is our top 10 buyers on the Whatnot channel, and by revenue and orders. And it's pretty wild. We have one guy that spent $2,400 with us in the last 7 days. And to be on the top 10, you almost spend $1,000. So the difference between Whatnot and TikTok Shop, and I've said it and I'll say it again, TikTok Shop, you're doom scrolling, right? You're not necessarily looking to buy. Algorithm does the algorithm thing, and it hits you with an $18 item that you're like, man, this is pretty cool. It's a cool creator talking about it. And you're not looking at the brand. It's very transactional, and you swipe and you buy it. If you're on Whatnot, you came there to buy, right? It's literally a platform for purchasing. So if you're there, you're already a high intent buyer. You're looking to make a purchase. And if we can position it as entertainment on a site where the high intent's already there, it kind of takes care of itself. Again, show follow structure, consistency, days and times, right? You heard Gary Vee talk about it today, and probably anytime I've seen anything online about the consistency of social media, right? He's telling you to post more times, just like Jimmy's telling you to send more emails. The consistency matters, and the reality is this is no different, right? So if you're going to go live every Monday at 8 p.m., you have to go live every Monday at 8 p.m. You can't decide, oh, I'm going to do this Monday and then I'm going to not do it for 3 weeks. You have to be consistent, just like any other part of the business. So very, very, very simple. We have 2 calls that drive everything. Monday, now that we were doing this in the beginning too, we're having the leadership calls, coming up with a game plan, keeping the schedule ahead and planned. So we'll try to have the schedule for Whatnot built out several weeks in advance. And there's a bunch of reasons. There's the community aspect. You can have people bookmark the upcoming shows. You can ask them to bookmark while we're on. And then Friday, we're meeting with the entire Whatnot team, and we're just open communication. What's working, what's not working, what are we seeing trend-wise, how can we, have learnings to apply to the following week. And these are our actual numbers that we started with. So we kept it really tight. The red stuff, we hadn't really dialed in all of our expenses, which we have now. So host and showrunner, your core, channel owner keeps the strategy. There's no need for a full-time role at all. So up through all of this, none of this was full-time. This is the month that we're going hard and we're going all in, and we're now scaling, right? We're adding multiple full-time resources to it. We've kind of taken the roadmap. We know what the playbook is, and now we're just applying it. But you can see at the end of the day, putting up some decent revenue, and this is all inclusive of everyone's salaries on the July and August, and all commissions, all platform fees, literally everything. That's our walk away on the average margin. So always continue to improve. So lots of learnings. We're constantly trying new hosts, new themes. Think of it as actual content, right? Like, the reality is, if you're not keeping it fresh, if you're not trying new things, if you're not entertaining people are going to lose interest. So it's just a constant. You can see this is 4 upcoming shows. You can see 3 different hosts. We're going in October to Miami, giving away a Samsung 70-inch TV. Like, this is true entertainment. So yeah, the community piece is really interesting. So Whatnot, there's a lot of features on there that are wild. So we'll be running a show. We'll have 120 users in there. We've been on for 3 hours. We're ending the show. We don't just end the show and kick everybody off. We say, hey, everybody stick around. We're going to do something called a raid. And we take us and the 120 people, and we literally show up to someone else's channel selling. And we've just given them us and 120 people. So it's like super community. There's no like affiliate commission or benefit to do that, except Whatnot's built this platform and like everybody can kind of win mentality, which is very energetic. So gamification is an interesting piece. We'll run all kinds of games and we just make it fun. Kind of, pulling the curtain back a little bit on how big can one channel get. So Pokemon, sports cards are the 2 established markets on there. Running a full gambit of I would say regular programming, call it 30 to 40 hours a week. On the Pokemon side, the sports cards, and honestly the collectible side, you don't have to do a lot to quickly hit 8 figures in annual revenue, which is, to me, absolutely wild. I would say the rest of D2C brands, again, I'm going to define proof of concept 5 to, up to 9 figures. It's a very easy, low barrier to be able to hit 2 to 5 million. So single channels range from 2 to 20 based on the category. We'll hit on the single BattlBox channel, optimize about 5 million in revenue. We're launching next week a second and a third channel. The second is going down even on a deeper niche in the outdoor space. And then the other channel is kind of going more general and broad. So we have this account manager who has been very, very helpful. One of the amazing things is just kind of like telling us what's working and what's not working. He has multiple companies that in the last year are doing 9 figures on Whatnot alone. And these are established brands that are, doing 9 figures directly on their site. but in a very short 12-month span, they've been able to do 9 figures, and they're doing it in different ways. There's a Pokemon channel that runs 24/7, and then there's a lot of hybrid models where it's one brand with a bunch of different products and channels. So the gamification is a big piece, and Whatnot has a lot of stuff that's native to the platform. So you can see this wheel right here. It's literally in the platform. You can do mystery boxes. You can do, this example is sports cards, so it's teams. But they add all these gamification elements in, which when you're using them, it can take your margin and double it, which is pretty wild. It's pretty much it. So I'll open it up to any questions. And yeah, love to get connected and love to answer any questions if anybody has any. There we go.
There we go. I'm on. Clap. Thank you, John. It's a newer thing. It's very tactical. I really want him to share because like the numbers are more important for some of the operators here or some marketing department leads. You're going like, should we invest? Should we not invest in it? So if there are any questions, I'd love to throw you the mic and kind of go back and forth on it. Thank you.
Oh, it worked. Hey, my name is Vlad. Thanks for the presentation. The question is, did you have to push any traffic to your Whatnot store to get that traction?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So we, in the start, we did a couple of posts, but we quickly held back on it because we didn't know what we didn't know. And we were a little concerned with, possibly cannibalizing ourselves, right? We have this flagship product that's a membership with an LTV of $1,000. That is our core business. And we didn't want to sell a $30 item and that's all they ever bought. So we were a little hesitant on there. It's just like, an Instagram reel or a YouTube short or a TikTok, where if something is engaging, people show up, right? And the algorithm pushes it. And you're scrolling just like on all the other platforms, but you're scrolling actual shopping. So short answer, no, we didn't. And we still haven't. We're going to use that as an additional lever later to pull. We haven't leveraged our social media at all.
Nice. Thank you.
I'm going to ask this as I'm walking to the back. What about personas? Like you showed some demographics of like some burly dudes with beards. Does it make sense to like kind of split test who your host is? And is that person your showrunner as well? Or you want talent to be the talent?
No, it's a good question. And we've done a lot of different personas, right? So you saw a couple guys with beards, that does perform well. But, one of our big initiatives, the next host we hire, we want them to be a woman. We want to attempt these other personas. We've got a couple guys, clean shaven, not at all the outdoorish type that we've tried. We're literally trying them all and just trying to find what works. And the reality is, I think almost any persona can work just because people are there showing up to buy, to be entertained. So it truly doesn't matter.
Are you an outdoorsman?
What's that?
Do you consider yourself an outdoorsman?
I'm prepared.
Oh, prepared.
I put myself more in the prepared category.
I have a full beard, but I don't consider myself prepared.
Hi, my name is Chris Richardson with Becoming Uncommon, and Gary mentioned earlier that there's a way to potentially have services be a part of the online shopping community, and I've just been brainstorming like crazy as I've been here talking to people. Where do you see that potential of having a services tied to the Whatnot, selling platform?
Yeah, so I definitely think services will find a place. I truly believe that right now live selling is, and I know we've talked about it for 10 years, but we are in the actual infancy, right? This can go a million different ways, but all those ways are up and to the right. So I think there's a place. I don't know if Whatnot is necessarily the right place. I don't know if Whatnot's the right platform in 2 years, right? The reality is Amazon has A/B tested like 7 different iterations, and they still haven't figured out. They will figure it out. And if Amazon isn't figured out, they will acquire someone that has. Same with eBay. eBay has, they're doing probably their hardest test right now, collectibles and sports cards. They're pushing it hard. In January, they're doing a hard launch on a bunch of other categories. Services will be a part of it at some point. I think they're all trying to get their baseline right now.
Right here.
What does your show look like? Is it Q&A? Do you go through a slide deck? How do you structure your live selling calls?
Sure. So it's typically our shows are running 2 to 3 hours. So we'll build about 50 products on average. We can go about 25 products an hour. So if we think we're going to go 3 hours, side of caution, 75, 80 products. And just engaging, talking to the community, talking to the people in the chat. You know, it could be 80 people, it could be 150. But we're going product by product and talking about the product, not hard selling it, but selling it with certainty, right? So we'll go through the knife, we'll talk about the features, and then the showrunner will kick off an auction to start it off. And we'll sell multiple, sometimes of the same product. So we're using a Shopify integration. So at the end of every show, it's pushing that, it's Whatnot's pushing to Shopify, and then we're fulfilling it like a normal order.
For a brand that maybe doesn't have 75 products, do you guys ever do shows where you're talking about a single offer or product just over and over again?
So I will say that Whatnot has the same type of consumer behavior that causes us all to just constantly doom scroll. People do want variety. People do want to see multiple products. We've done some testing of longer runs, and we're actually going to roll out some shows where we're doing like a longer session. Right now, all we've really tested is spending 3 minutes, 4 minutes, typically max, on a product and moving on.
I'm curious if you have, say if I'm selling like a supplement, like I'm trying to educate about Breeze, there's very important ingredients there. Could you take it like a more educational stance of like, here's what the product is, and you break it down by how much, what the ingredients is, what the effect is, how you drink it, how you do it? Is there a way of doing a lot of education with the sell?
100%. So I actually saw, there was a really good video. It's one of your TikTok shop affiliates, creators, that is just constantly running live, selling your product, and they're very educational on it. That 100% would work on Whatnot as well.
Final. John, thank you very much, brother.
Thanks, Shaq.